In the realm of mixed martial arts where warriors battle for glory, one name echoes with a ferocity that chills the very bones of those who hear it: Wanderlei Silva, the axe murderer. His journey from the hard-packed streets of Curitiba, Brazil, to the bright lights of global MMA stardom is a testament to the power of will, the fire of ambition, and the heart of a warrior.
The axe murderer, Wanderlei Silva!
Landing the left hook and a right hand. Oh! Nice kick, nice chop, kick, follows it with the left.
Born on July 3, 1976, in the bustling city of Curitiba, Brazil, Wanderlei Cesar da Silva was just another kid with dreams bigger than his circumstances. The streets of Curitiba, known for their beauty and harsh realities, shaped the young Silva, instilling in him a resilience that would define his life. Silva's foray into martial arts began at 13 years old with a simple goal: to defend himself against the challenges of streets where fighting was a way of life. But what started as a means of survival quickly turned into a passion. Silva immersed himself in the discipline and art of combat, training at the legendary Shootbox Academy. But the path to greatness is difficult. In his late teens, Silva joined the Brazilian army. It was here that his exceptional fighting talents were recognized, leading him to be invited to train in Vale Tudo, no-holds-barred fighting, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It was this unyielding determination that propelled Silva from the local circuits of Brazil to the global stage of the Pride Fighting Championships in Japan. The journey was long, and the challenges were many. But for the axe murderer, every fight was a step towards his destiny. Continuing his ascent in the fighting world, Silva competed in several international Vale Tudo championship events from 1997 to 1999, including IVC 2, 6, 9, and 10. He displayed his dominance by winning 5 out of 6 matches by knockout or technical knockout. His only loss during this time came via a cut stoppage against Artur Mariano in IVC 2, where despite Silva's overwhelming performance, the match was halted due to a cut above his left eyelid. However, Silva's determination and skill were unwavering. He clinched the cruiserweight belt in the IVC 10 show on April 27, 1999, with a submission victory over Eugene Jackson. It was after this notable win that Silva earned the moniker the Axe Murderer, a testament to his relentless and fearsome fighting style. As the sun rises in the east, so did a new chapter begin for Wanderlei Silva. Leaving behind the familiar streets of Brazil, Silva stepped onto the soil of Japan, a land where ancient traditions meet the cutting edge of modern combat sports. This was the world of Pride Fighting Championships, a place where legends were made, and Silva was determined to carve his name among the stars. Silva's debut in Pride was a spectacle of heart and ferocity.
Got the end of the fight.
He's squeezing, and he taps, Wanderlei Silva.
Each fight was a testament to his relentless work ethic and unbreakable spirit. His aggressive style, marked by explosive strikes and ruthless aggression, quickly made him a fan favorite and a feared opponent in the ring. Among the many rivalries Silva encountered, none was as electrifying or as defining as his battles with Rampage Jackson. Their clashes were not merely fights. They were epic sagas that lived up to the brutality of the two men.
Misses the kick there.
A good knee, nice knee
and now
inside.
exchanging
Kick.
follows it with the left eye.
Again with the knees. Quinton's in trouble here.
Quinton is definitely in trouble.
Here.
Unbelievable. Look at him
Smiled at him right there.
He is. Wanderlei smiling at him, and that is it.
That's the end of it.
Silva's fighting style was a spectacle of violence and beauty, a combination of Muay Thai clinches, devastating knee strikes, and relentless aggression.
Right hand by Silva, again a windmill right hand.
His ability to control the pace and impose his will on his opponents was unmatched. Each fight was a masterclass in violence, a display of sheer willpower and determination.
And as Wanderlei Silva has said before, I promise violence. I promise you a great fight.
Silva's reign in Pride was marked by unforgettable moments, victories that were as much about his spirit as they were about his skill. Each opponent faced not just a fighter, but a force of nature, an embodiment of the warrior spirit that defines mixed martial arts.
Stomp kick there by Wanderlei. I don't know if it landed.
Oh, there it is. That's it.
It wasn't just Silva's victories that captivated the world, it was how he won. Each victory, each knockout, brought him closer to his destiny. And then, the moment that would define his career, becoming the Pride Middleweight Champion. Silva wasn't just winning fights, he was dominating an era.
With the right knee to the head.
Stop! Pride's middleweight Superman!
26 seconds into the second round. By a knockout, the winner.
You right? Since the tournament, did he not have elbows?
No, he had.
But the life of a fighter is fought on many fronts. Outside the ring, Silva balanced the pressures of fame with the simplicity of his personal life. Friends and family kept him grounded, reminding him of the world beyond the roar of the crowd and the thrill of victory. In the ring and out, Silva's journey through Pride was more than just a series of fights. It was the forging of a legend. A fighter who dominated the 205-pound division with a 5-year win streak. Silva embodied the spirit of martial arts. He fought not just for titles, but for legacy. At the summit of the mixed martial arts world, atop the prestigious Pride Fighting Championships, stood Wanderlei Silva, not just as a champion, but as an emperor reigning over the middleweight division. His name invoked awe and admiration, fear and respect. This was the era of the Axe Murderer, a time when Silva wasn't just part of Pride, he was Pride. But a reign is defined not just by victories, but by the challenges faced and overcome. Silva's battles inside the ring were legendary, each fight a war that tested his limits, his will, and his heart.
His style, the way he fights, and if you've seen him fight in Japan, when he was fighting for Pride, his style is just attack, constant, just relentless action, relentless aggression, relentless violence.
Yet even as Silva carved out his legacy with each fight, the world of MMA was evolving. New challengers emerged, each hungry for the crown. And beyond the confines of the Pride ring, the sport itself was transforming, with the rise of the UFC and a shift towards a global MMA audience. Amidst this shifting landscape, Silva's reign faced its greatest challenges. Injuries, the wear of countless battles, and the rise of new fighters tested the champion in ways he had never before experienced. As Pride sunset and the UFC's star rose, Silva stood at a crossroads. The landscape of MMA was changing, and with it, the path of the Axe Murderer. But for champions like Silva, every end is but a new beginning. His legacy and pride was unassailable, yet the next chapter awaited in the octagon of the UFC, a new arena for Silva to prove his mettle. With the legacy of Pride etched into the annals of MMA history, Wanderlei Silva embarked on a new journey, stepping into the octagon of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. The UFC, a crucible of combat, promised new battles, new rivals, and a new stage for the Axe Murderer to wield his ferocious might.
Wanderlei Silva. Mike Goldberg, Joe Rogan, 5 years. He was dominant in Pride for their entire lives. They've been as dangerous as any fighter we have ever seen.
But the transition was not without its trials. The UFC presented a different style of fighting, a different caliber of opponents, and a new set of rules. For Silva, it was a difficult welcome to the octagon, losing to Chuck Liddell in his first fight by unanimous decision.
Win or lose for me, I like to give the emotion for my fans.
Silva rebounded after his loss with a quick first-round knockout of the awkward Keith Jardine.
Jardine, he's in trouble. He's in big. It is all huge.
But then lost to his longtime rival Rampage Jackson, who avenged his previous 2 losses to Silva with a left hook that shut the lights off in the first round.
Good left hand. Silva is out. It is all over.
And suffered another loss by unanimous decision to Rich Franklin.
Swinging wildly to the finish. Wanderlei Silva, Rich Franklin.
Despite the losses, Silva's warrior spirit never waned. The fighter announced a brief layoff to undergo facial surgery to repair his nose, which had first been broken by Cro Cop and then subsequently broken many more times, and to remove scar tissue from above his eyes to avoid being easily cut in future fights. The surgery allowed him to breathe through a once completely blocked nose, thus increasing his oxygen intake by 30% by the doctor's estimates.
Wanderlei didn't get Botox. He had his face reconstructed because his nose, he had been in so many brawls, they took a chunk of his rib and rebuilt his nose, and he had his nose built big so he could breathe out of it more. And then he had all the scar tissue removed from his eyebrows and then pulled back.
Silva returned from his layoff in a new weight class at 185 pounds to square off with Michael Bisping at UFC 110. Silva won a unanimous decision in his first victory in almost 2 years. Yet, as with all warriors, time and battle take their toll. Injuries and defeats in the octagon over the next couple of years tested Silva's resolve like never before. Silva's journey in the UFC was marked not only by fierce battles and unforgettable moments, but also by the shadow of controversy. In 2014, Silva was embroiled in a scandal that would mark a turning point in his career. Faced with a random drug test by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Silva chose to evade the test, a decision that led to widespread speculation and criticism.
UFC light heavyweight fighter Wanderlei Silva admitted he took banned substances and fled a drug test.
The incident led to a lifetime ban and a $70,000 fine levied against the legend. After a long-awaited rehearing, the commission subsequently reduced the lifetime ban to a 3-year suspension and cleared the fine for Silva. But more importantly, it sparked a conversation within the MMA community about the use of performance-enhancing drugs and the need for stricter regulations and testing protocols. The road to redemption is paved with challenges, and for the axe murderer, this path was no exception. Following the controversy that had momentarily dimmed the light on his illustrious career, Silva found himself at a crossroads, yet the heart of a warrior beats with undying resolve, and Silva was determined to return to the sport that defined his life. Silva's return to MMA was met with anticipation and excitement from fans around the world. After 4 years away from the sport, Silva made his delayed Bellator debut against Chael Sonnen in the main event at Bellator NYC on June 24, 2017. Silva lost a unanimous decision.
Chael, the American Gangster!
His next and final fight was against none other than Rampage Jackson in a 4th matchup on September 29, 2018 at Bellator 206. He lost the fight via technical knockout in round 2.
Right from Silva! Jackson ground and pound on Wanderlei Silva to the body, upstairs. It's on Rampage. Rampage evens the series.
As the twilight of his career approached, Silva began to reflect on his legacy, on the battles fought, the championships won, and the impact he had on the sport of MMA. With grace and humility, Silva announced his retirement, closing the chapter on a career that spanned over 2 decades. Wanderlei Silva's retirement marked the end of an era but also the beginning of his enduring legacy. As a fighter, he was unmatched in his ferocity and passion. As a mentor and advocate for the sport, his influence continues to inspire new generations of fighters. Wanderlei Silva's journey through the echelons of mixed martial arts is a saga of triumph, adversity, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. But beyond the knockouts, championship belts, and controversy lies the true legacy of the axe murderer. A legacy crafted not only within the confines of the ring, but also in the hearts and minds of those he touched.
I watched Wanderlei fight in UFC 20 before I was even a fighter. I was there with the guy who started me to fight, and I saw Wanderlei destroy his guy with Muay Thai knees. Man, I was instantly a fan of Wanderlei. Much respect to Wanderlei.
As the sun sets on a storied career, Silva's days of fighting in the ring may have ended, but his impact on the sport of MMA endures. Through his dedication to training the next generation of fighters, his charitable works, and his advocacy for the sport, Silva continues to shape the world of mixed martial arts. Silva's story is one of extraordinary achievement, of battles fought and won, both inside the ring and out. But it is also a story of growth, of a man who found a purpose beyond the glory of victory, who continues to inspire a new generation to chase their dreams with the same fervor and heart that he brought to every fight. As we close this chapter on the axe murderer, we reflect not on a legacy that will live on in the annals of MMA history, but of a fighter, a mentor, a legend, forever a nightmare for those who stood across from him in the ring.